what you would expect based on our understanding of the impacts of having more CO2 in the atmosphere. And the tricky thing with the debate around climate change is that the basic scientific questions around what's going on are actually pretty straightforward and well understood. They're really not controversial. We've known since the 19th century that carbon dioxide transmits visible light and absorbs infrared. That's the basis of the so-called greenhouse effect. We know when you burn fossil fuels, you release CO2. We've measured the CO2 since the 50s and seen it going up. And we know from the isotopic signature that increase is due to the burning of fossil fuels. So those are just measurements. They're not judgments. Mm-hmm. Where it gets tricky is you say, okay, what should we do about it? Should we invest a lot to avoid it? Should we just deal with it? Should we ignore it? Those aren't really scientific questions. Those are kind of policy questions, they're economic questions, and they're, of course, very controversial. And it's sensible to not like climate change. I don't, because it could be potentially very damaging to the world, to our economy. I think it's not so sensible to just want to ignore it. You don't. It worked when you were a kid. You were afraid there were monsters under the bed. It was a good solution. Just don't look under the bed. I'm not sure if that's the right way to deal with this problem.
So when you talk to Governor Perry, who's going to become the new head of the DOE if he's confirmed, what is going to be your message to him?
Well, I think the most important thing is that if you look at the Department of Energy, it's a science and technology agency. This is not well understood. It has relatively little to do with the things that people normally associate with energy, like drilling for oil and gas. That's really interior. Department of Energy develops technology that is intended to make energy supply more reliable, lower cost, cleaner, and hopefully less dependent on foreign imports. Those are drivers that I think most people will sign up for, regardless of whether they're Republican or Democrat, and that's why I think we do enjoy a fair amount of bipartisan support for a lot of the research that we do.
I do want to go back to one thing you had mentioned: computers.